Hey y'all, I'm Alpharius, and welcome to Most of It, where I talk about most things that I find interesting. Today, we'll be going over the primarchs Alpharius and Omegon. Or will we? First off, massive disclaimer. This is the Alpha Legion we're talking about here, so it could all be true, or none of it could be true. Who knows? But I've done my best to get as close to what we believe happened as possible. But without further ado, let's get into this. Alpharius states in an account that he also says is a lie that he was never scattered, and was instead the first primarch to be found upon Terra itself. He was found by the Emperor, who killed a group of scavengers to keep the boy a secret. The Emperor and Malcador the Sigillite would raise Alpharius to be the perfect secret agent, even keeping him a secret from the Imperium and the other primarchs. He first became known to the custodian Constantine Valdor when he disguised himself and attempted a mock assassination of the Emperor as a training exercise, and subsequently created the first of the custodian's blood games. Meanwhile, Omegon, Alpharius' twin, was scattered and landed on a barren, empty planet where he was able to come to an understanding of his nature as a creation of the Emperor. One day, when a group of human scavengers landed on the planet, Omegon was able to steal a ship and escape, and made his way towards Imperium-held worlds, along the way hearing tales of his father and brothers. It is claimed that throughout the Great Crusade, Alpharius joined the Emperor in finding his lost sons, often disguised as a simple space marine. All the while, Alpharius would keep his legion secret, and would even help Lionel Johnson during the Wrong Dawn Xenocides, while denying himself to be a Primarch. During this battle, Alpharius would finally meet Omegon, who had been battling solo upon the same world, with the two immediately recognizing each other. After meeting, they decided that they would reveal themselves to the Imperium while keeping their twin status a secret, as they looked identical. They would board Horus's ship and would be greeted by Horus himself, with Omegon declaring himself to be Alpharius and the last Primarch found. Horus and Omegon would go on joint campaigns throughout the next few months, with the two developing a close bond. Soon, the two would go back to Terra, with Omegon's discovery being met with celebration, and him being appointed as the head of his legion, the Alpha Legion. Now keep in mind, this all happened with everyone believing Omegon to be Alpharius. Okay, cool, moving on. Alpharius would be a very unique leader throughout the Great Crusade, with him valuing flexibility and subterfuge above most other legions, which bothered some of his brothers, namely Rabute Gilman, who after an argument declared that the Alpha Legion could never hope to achieve the Ultramarines' records. Alpharius would simply decide to ignore his brother going forward. Alpharius would continue to push his legion further with more complicated plans and more subtlety, creating a legion of secret operatives. Roughly 2 years before the Horus Heresy began, Alpharius would be contacted by a Xenos organization called the Cabal, who would show him visions of the coming civil war and the designs of chaos. It is believed that the Cabal convinced Alpharius that the only way to defeat chaos was for Horus to win, which would cause the destruction of humanity, which would remove chaos's power. This would cause Alpharius and his legion to side with Horus when the heresy began, with it also being believed that one or two of the twins may have remained loyal to the Emperor throughout. Throughout the heresy, the Alpha Legion would taint part of a genome which the Raven Guard needed to repair their legion, with them keeping a copy of it for themselves. They would sow rebellions against the Raven Guard and eventually would leave the Cabal altogether, stating that they would fulfill their missions on their own. They would also attack the White Scars Legion and the Space Wolves, with Alpharius even dueling Leman Russ before they were reinforced by Dark Angels. Toward the beginning of the Solar War, at the Battle of Pluto, Alpharius would duel Rogel Dorn. This battle ended with Rogel receiving a few wounds, but would end up killing seemingly the real Alpharius. Omegon would sense the death of his brother and would take his identity, becoming Alpharius, and would abandon Horus during the Siege of Terra, and would for the most part disappear after that. After Horus's death, Alpharius would continue assaulting the Loyalist legions, with a great focus upon the Ultramarines. He would meet with Gilman, which would end with Gilman killing Alpharius, although it is believed that this was not the Primarch, but rather one of his sons, pretending to be him. Gilman would be assaulted by the Alpha Legion, forcing him to retreat off the planet. The deaths of both Primarchs were extremely suspect, with some Alpha Legion legionaries being unsure whether their fathers are still alive. But one thing is known, that neither have been seen since. A few times since, there has emerged someone claiming to be Alpharius, with Imperial records marking Alpharius as having died more than 5 times. But whatever the case, the Alpha Legion remains at large, working in the shadows on whatever they consider to be their goal. I am Alpharius. This is a lie. So that's where the story stands for now, I think. And I don't really have a great moral assessment on these Primarchs like I usually do, so instead I'll talk about their legion. The Alpha Legion is one of the coolest and most frustrating legions, as their concept of being a quote-unquote non-existent legion is super cool. However, their nature doesn't lend itself to like any lore, which means we know next to nothing about them. Their legion, all looking like their primarch, is also super cool, and the whole concept of one legion being able to infiltrate others is something that many headcanons have been made about. It just irritates me to have such a cool legion and then know next to nothing about them. But, oh well. If you want to learn more about Alpharius, Omegon, and their legion, I'd recommend reading the books Praetorian of Dorne, Legion, and Alpharius, Head of the Hydra. Well, that's all I got for today, y'all. And with this being the end of the Primarch series I've been doing, I just want to say thanks. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy watching these as much as I've enjoyed making them. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and comment down below what topics or characters you'd like to see me cover next. And don't worry, I will still be making videos. With all that said, I'll see y'all later.